program today. I mean, we are looking at the contracts on the front end approaching 110. What can perhaps provide a sort of ceiling? Do you even see one with oil prices surging in such a manner?
I do remember we had a discussion last week this time when the market was opening right after the war was broke between Iran, Israel, and U.S. So the market was in the range of 70s, as you said. Right after 1 week, we are in about above 100. And last week, the expectations of the market was this is going to end somehow soon, is going to be contained. There was no expectations of sheer impact on the energy infrastructure in the region and also production of the region. So what has happened, even though that the energy market showed significant resilience, and comparing it with the previous oil shocks, let's say in 70s, we have some changes. We have obviously multiple suppliers in the market, U.S. oil going from different routes, the alternatives that are not passing through the Strait of Hormuz, diversity in the market, diversity of different sources of energy altogether, plus the data and access to data, the algorithmic pricing, all of that, if you put it as the resilience of market, and on top of all of them, China's stockpile of oil, which has been significantly, China in the past 2 years was stockpiling oil. None of them, as we see entering to the second week, stopped the market to surpass the $100. And why that is happening? Because we saw two major impact on the energy resources and flow from the region. Number one is the attacks and the strikes on the energy facilities in multiple producing countries in the region. And the second one is that the Strait of Hormuz, the oil flow from there, as even before Iran physically closed them, the insurance company kind of stopped insuring the tankers voluntarily not passing through the Strait of Hormuz. And that caused the storages in the producing countries to fill up. And as you said in your earlier report, the country's major producers start one by one announcing that they have to reduce their production because there's no way for them to store more.
Sarah, what was interesting to me as some of these nations find alternative ways to get their crude around is how the Saudis are using their Red Sea terminals. You're seeing record amounts flowing there. Do you have a sense of perhaps among these Gulf nations which are a bit less vulnerable to these strikes from Iran and the impact on both infrastructure as well as getting their crude around?
Again, I like to distinguish these two from each other in terms of flow of energy. Definitely Saudi Arabia has the highest resilience because of the access to Red Sea, UAE to a certain degree. But in terms of the assets, energy assets being secure from the strikes, there has been some interesting things happening last week. So the first day of the strikes on energy infrastructure, Iranian foreign minister came to the media and said that the Iranian military, since the major commanders have been killed, is acting independently and in isolation, suggesting that already, whoever is ruling the country, the president, the foreign ministry, they have no access to the military. They are attacking and striking based on initial guidelines they had for defending the country when they go into the survival mode. Then toward the end of the week, we had Iranian president apologizing from the neighboring country and saying that this is not going to happen again, and they are going to contain they're going to prevent any strike. However, the strikes from U.S. and Israel on Iran have been intensified. They target Iranian refineries, the energy storages, and also a water desalination plant in Qesh, which later, when it was proved that the strike happened from Bahrain, Iranian retaliated on water desalination plant in Bahrain. So not only energy infrastructure, but food security, because a lot of the food to the region comes from the Strait of Hormuz, and also water security. There is a lot of uncertainty around them. And again, as U.S. is intensifying its attacks and strikes against Iran, all of this is just intensifying the risks against these countries as Iranian government is trying to reach out to the neighbors and try to somehow contain the situation, the more the higher the intensity of the attacks gets against Iran, the higher percentage of potential attacks on energy infrastructure, water infrastructure increases in the region, which is really unfortunate.